Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montavilla Sewing Center, and today I'm going to show you how to sew in a zipper. This video is going to show you the centered application. I did a lapped application in a different video, and you can feel free to watch that one too. So centered application is like this. So you have a zipper going down the middle, and sometimes the teeth will show a little bit. Now I've used a contrast colored zipper and contrast thread so that you can see it. Most of the time you're going to want to use all the same color when you sew. Sometimes you do want to use a contrasting zipper too. Now in this case I've got some twill fabric, which is not quite as stiff as denim, but it is a little bit easier to sew on than say a thinner cotton or something like that. And then I've got a regular old Coats & Clark zipper. I've shortened it a little bit for this application. So what we want to start out with is our fabric right sides together. And notice I have finished the edge so that it doesn't fray there. Then I want to take a pin and use it to mark the bottom. Say my pattern has the bottom of the zipper, a mark for that. I want to put that right down there. Then we want to making sure that our edges are even. I'm going to put one more pin up here. Just take it out as I sew. In fact, I'm going to put it across this way. So most patterns call for a 5/8 inch seam allowance. So make sure that you're on your center needle position and you got your edge of your fabric right there on the edge of the 5/8 inch. Now, the part where we're going to sew in the zipper is up here, so I'm going to be taking that stitching out later. So we want a longer stitch length for basting. I'm going to watch right over here at the 5/8 inch line. Slow it down a little bit here. Okay. There we go. I'm kind of sitting off to the side, so it may be a little bit harder for me to actually see what I'm doing. There you go. Now, when I get down to where that pin is, I'm going to shorten the stitch length because at this point I'm going to take about 3 stitches forward and then a couple stitches back and then stitch the rest of my seam. So I'm stitching the whole seam until I get down to the end. Now this is just a sample, obviously. Take that out of there. Now at this point I do want to snip these threads right at the end there. I'm going to use, I don't have a seam ripper right here, but if I did, I'd snip the ends of my basting thread. And that is going to make it easier to take out that basting once we're done, once we've got the zipper in. But we want to leave the basting in for now because that'll make a nice, neat zipper application. Now at this point I would want to go over to my iron and iron this. I don't happen to have an iron right here, but I would want to iron this nice and flat. Then I take my zipper, and in this case I'm going to use the zipper teeth to get it lined up. So I open this out so we have just the single seam allowance like this and the rest of the fabric off to the left. We're going to go face down like this with the end of the zipper right where we ended our stitching right down there. So in this case, I could either pin it, or what I like better is to use Wonder Tape. This is a wash away Wonder Tape. It's double stick on both sides, so it works really nice. I already have some here. And I'm going to put it on the zipper tape. Go ahead and close this up. And this can actually be stitched through. The Wonder Tape, that's part of the wonder of it, is that it doesn't gum up your needle. You can stitch through it, and it washes away once you're done. Plus, using a sticky like this, a tape, makes it so that you don't have pins that you have to take out before you reach them, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a pin. And it makes it so that I'm going to make it so that the end of the metal is above my back stitch right there. Okay. Okay, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, it also makes it so, because the pins tend to kind of distort your fabric. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm putting my zipper teeth right up to the seam line. Okay. That's going to make it so that it's nice and evenly centered. Now, going to take off this foot, put the zipper foot on. I'm putting it on the left-hand side, and I'm also going to make it so that my needle is off to the left. So I'm stitching right next to those zipper teeth. I don't want to stitch really, really close because I want the zipper puller tab to be able to go by it. Okay. And then I can use just regular stitch length. That's okay. There we go. Want the slider to be able to go by it. And once I get this far, I'm going to lift this up, pull that tab up there so it's past it. It's about in the right place. And the Wash Away Wonder Tape is going to hold it all in place. And this, I can actually leave this part that I just sewed in there. I can leave that in. I don't have to take that out as basting. But now we open this out. Make sure everything's nice and flat. And I can feel through there. Those zipper teeth are right in the middle. Now, how do we know how close the like quarter inch is away from there? Because that's what you want to sew. Well, you want to sew a quarter inch away from that seam line. Well, okay, I'm going to use my Wash Away Wonder Tape. You can also use a product like this quarter inch quilter's tape. You get 60 yards. It's quite a bit of quilter's tape, but it is just a single-sided. So I'm going to use my Wonder Tape because it's already quarter inch and I already have it out. So what I'm doing is I'm putting, move my slider, because I'm going to leave it right where it is. I am putting this quarter inch tape right next to the seam line. And I'm going to do that on both sides because I'm going to be sewing right next to that. That way I'll be going through the outside fabric, through the seam allowance, and through the zipper tape. I'll put it down here so I can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Also, it's important to maybe mark where your the end of your zipper is. So you don't want to sew through that metal part. Putting this right along the seam line. I'm kind of doing a hurry-up job here, but that's all right. You can take your time. It's a good idea to take your time when you're sewing. Now, I'm still going to leave my needle position on the left-hand side because I want to make sure that the foot does not go over any metal part of the zipper. Okay, and I'm just using this as marking tape just to get right next to that line there. Okay, take it slow. Okay, actually it would be a good idea to do a little bit of a back stitch. And as you get close to that slider, you might even want to just hand walk it across just to make sure that you don't get too close to that metal slider. Okay, I'm going to actually go a little bit past it. There we go. Now, if you had a longer zipper, you could actually move that slider back and forth, but it's kind of hard to do with the basting in the way, so I'm going to just get right next to that. There we go. All right. I can kind of feel down here where the end of that is. I'm going to take a pin because that's going to tell me where to stop. Right about here. Put a pin right there. Tell me where to stop and turn that corner. Now, as I'm sewing, I can power it along, but once I get to the end here, I may want to just hand walk it across. Hand walk it is where you're turning your hand wheel like this. It's a good idea, especially if there's something metal in the way. You don't want to accidentally power through that. If you feel any resistance, that means that you're hitting something that you shouldn't hit. Okay, it's past that metal. I can power that through. Take one stitch right at the corner. You end with your needle down so that you can turn that corner and keep sewing. There we go. Take my time. Hold things as I go. Again, we're going to get around that zipper tab, kind of make a little bit wider of a turn. That's all right. Go right past it. There we go. And do a back stitch. Okay. Now, take off that tape. That tape has now served its purpose, but you can see that it has made a nice distance here between the two sides. Now, I still haven't taken out my basting, which I need to do still. And using a large-eyed needle, which I had here a minute ago, but I don't see it now. Oh, here it is. A large-eyed needle. I can take my basting out, just like this. And the basting is what held those two edges together. So you don't need to hold them together. The basting does the job. Take a hold of that. If I get a good pull, I might even be able to pull the whole thing out. This doesn't want to do that, but that's all right. Get rid of some of these other extra threads that are in the way. There we go. All right. Move that down. See, I'm kind of using the zipper tab to move the slider, and that does help open the zipper. But basting can be a really useful thing when you are putting things together. Basting can, of course, either be done by hand or by machine. Take away that tape at the end there. This is a little bit of the Wonder tape, but you can see it comes right off. Alrighty, so we've got our zipper. And you can see it is centered really nicely in the center there. That's the centered application for sewing on zippers. I hope you found this to be a helpful video. If you have, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions, you can leave those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos here on our Montavilla YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye.